Someone's there. Remy used the nearby brushes to scrape off the remainder of the gore before sheathing her weapon. All around them, the monsters were dead. They'd done great, and Remy felt a surge of pride that she wasn't going to let her dad down. "Got him!" Nightingale said as she turned towards Remy and reached up for a high five, but Remy didn't move. "Remy?" Nightingale waved a hand at her without effect. "Yo, Rimdog! Are you just gonna leave me hanging?" Remy was too busy staring at a nearby hill to notice her friend. She squinted up the hill and into the trees. She saw a flash of color, something bright red against the evergreens. There wasn't an abundance of flowers, certainly not enough to make a patch of such uniform shape and color. A few seconds of staring and the patch moved again, giving definition to a clearly human figure. Was this the culprit? Or maybe a survivor? Remy wasn't sure, but then the man ran away and Remy made a move, assuming he had to be the former. She didn't wait for any confirmation. She didn't even feel the need to signal her friends. Remy took off running, loping up the hill, using her wings to propel herself forward at a blinding speed. Behind her, Nightingale still stood, one hand stupidly in the air as she stared. Ahead of Remy, the figure started running. The man was big, even taller than Rook and probably wider too. The man turned sharply left, making his way deeper into the forest, but Remy didn't slow down. The tall trees the man ran into forced Remy to tuck her wings in and take chase on foot. She dodged easily between the trees, not slowing as she ran. She overtook a smaller stream with a running leap, not caring as mud splattered everywhere in the landing. Her heart hammered in her chest as he closed the distance on the retreating back. Where Rook's advancement had not robbed him of his speed, this man was more hulking than graceful. He snapped branches and crushed saplings, leaving a very obvious trail. There was no way he was going to get away. "Hey!" The man ignored Remy's shout, but he couldn't ignore the sliding tackle that took him right in the ankle. All that weight turned into a tumble, tearing through dirt and short bushes with equal disdain. The man landed in a sprawled, moaning heap. Remy, on the other hand, had landed far more gracefully. She drew her weapon as she approached the man, walking slowly. She was fairly sure the shouts and pounding footsteps in the forest behind him were her friends catching up. It would be better to confront this man with some backup. "Why the hell were you—" Remy didn't finish, freezing in place as she heard a quiet click from beneath the man she'd sent to the ground. The massive man had rolled onto his back, his face and scraggly beard covered with mud. A single long scar ran almost the entire length of his face, crossing over one of his eyes and down to his neck. The eye looked like it might be glass. The Remy's attention was mostly focused on the gun aiming at her face. Remy dropped her weapon, stepping back a few steps and raising both hands. "Easy there." The gun was an intricately carved flintlock pistol, deadly looking and beautifully crafted. "That's right." The man rolled onto his feet, the gun never losing track of Remy. He grinned with wickedly pointed teeth, almost like a shark's. "You stay right there, and don't move. If you follow me, I'll shoot you. Got it?" "Got it." Remy held very still, staring into the barrel. "Good girl." The man backed up for another few paces before turning and bolting suddenly away. True to his word, Remy didn't follow. A few seconds later, Nightingale came bursting through the trees behind her. "What the hell is your deal?" she asked, gasping with one hand on her chest. Remy picked up his fallen weapon, brushing off the mud. "Sorry, Night. I saw somebody spying on us. I tried to catch him, but he had a gun." Nightingale put a hand on her hip. "Really? You mean running off by yourself into the woods might have been dangerous?" She rolled her eyes. "Did you at least catch what he looked like?" "Yeah," Remy said, picking up her weapon and putting it away. For the second time in 2 days, Remy found herself in her father's study. The group was covered in a multitude of minor injuries that made it clear that they had just gone through a fight. Malik peered at the group from behind his desk, looking a bit amused at their condition. "I assume you decided to not get the guards." Remy sighed and forced herself to meet his eyes. This would go easier if she just told him the truth. "I read the letter. Instead of having the guards investigate, we decided to do it ourselves." "Really?" Malik didn't sound angry with her. Rather, he sounded concerned. "That wasn't safe, sweetie. Anything big enough to stop that caravan could have killed you too." "We know," She reached back, rubbing one sore wing. You were right. It was attacked. It was clearly not an accident. It might have even been too much for your guards, too. We got some information for you, though. Malik looked up with excitement. There was a suspicious-looking man at the scene. He had this wicked scar all over the right side of his face, Remy explained, drawing it on her face with a finger. Did he hurt you? Malik asked seriously, standing and putting a hand on his desk. He pointed a gun at me. I'm sorry I couldn't capture him for you. He did what? Malik said, standing and putting a hand on his desk. He pointed a gun at me, Remy stammered. Was he mad at her? Remy felt the sense of pride she had of helping her father wash away, replaced with worry that her dad was going to yell at her. He pointed a gun at my daughter? Malik asked no one in particular. His eye twitched, something that everyone caught. And a dark silence overtook the room as Malik's eyes glazed over in thought. Remy nodded slowly, glancing briefly towards her friends. He didn't shoot me, though. I mean, it could have been worse. You've done more than I could have expected, Malik said, cutting her off abruptly. His voice was audibly restrained, and Remy still felt like she had done something wrong. Then Malik met Remy's eyes, his face lacking any emotion that she could read. Your institute education appears to be paying off. I'm impressed. Are you mad? Remy asked, her voice high and timid. With you? Malik smiled. Not at all. You've proved yourself more capable than I could have imagined. Remy made a little sigh of relief. Do you know the guy? Unfortunately. Malik drew out one of his black ledgers and scribbled something there. A former associate of mine. He cleared his throat. Thank you for all your help. I will be able to take steps on my own from this point. Then Malik got up and leaned in close to Remy, resting a hand briefly on her shoulder. Maybe stick to just delivering my messages next time, okay? Yeah. Remy rose and her friends all did the same. I will.